It's time for Contessa's Court with Wanda Julian. Wanda owns, creates, and runs 7 magazines. Each magazine is focused on health, beauty, and luxury. Her business motto is to share beauty and goodwill with the world. Now, it's time for the show. Contessa's Court.
Tam here, coming to you from Favored. Just reaching out to let you know about our upcoming inaugural fundraiser, 24 Hours of Favor. And so for 24 hours, we're going to be broadcasting to raise funds for our Life Skills program. It's a 5-week program in which we provide services to parents that have perinatal and postpartum mood disorders. So we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about levels of depression, we're even talking about forms of psychosis that sometimes take place in these individuals' lives. And what we do as a community, taking a community approach, we make certain that we let these individuals know that they have a tribe in which they can turn to help support them in their walks of life as they're pressing through. Won't you make it your business to tune in, join us in conversations, even possibly pledge, right? For $35, you can send someone through a 5-week program. We hope to see you then.
Hey there, everybody. It's me, the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie BEE, and you can see I got my backpack in the back. It's packed and it's full and it's ready, so we can run this race with Contessa's Court, the magazine. Oh, I'm so excited to be talking to another entrepreneur, another woman in business. Not only is Haley going to be the feature for the Mother's Day issue, she is the Mother of the Year. And that by itself is such a cool accomplishment. There are so many people who want to start a business, and there are so many people that want to have children. And Haley has done them both and exceptionally well. She's an inspiration. She truly is. I know that as a member of her Facebook group, I have learned so much from so many members, but Haley's inspiration as an entrepreneur and a mother is truly a blessing to me. So Haley, we're going to bring you in and say hello, darling.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I want you to know how honored I am, because you're like a a guru in the the woman's entrepreneurial field. You're like a guru. So tell us who you are and where you live, and tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
So I'm Haley Gray. I am a mom of 4, and I live in Cary, North Carolina, which is a little suburb just outside of Raleigh. And I started this entrepreneurial journey, 10 years ago now. And I started it just shortly after my dad died in 2013. And I left my corporate job because I realized that life is just too short. And in 2015, I started my Facebook group. And that was also the year that my daughter fell off of a horse, landed on her head, sustained a traumatic brain injury. We still have the horse because he is a part of the family. And we have been, going through this whole journey with a traumatic brain injury and mental health issues and all of the things, many hospitalizations, managing through the healthcare system, and doing the things while growing a business and helping other small business owners. So I started the group in 2015 to help other women business owners. And it has grown beyond really my imagination. And it's so delightful to be able to help and provide resources and pointers and tips and all kinds of amazing things for small business owners, and to be able to serve in this unique way.
So your business started after a loss.
It did.
What piece of advice do you have for someone who maybe lost a parent or a child, or went through a divorce, or came to the same conclusion that you came to? Hey, life is too short. I got to do this right now. What kind of?
Right. I think that one of the biggest takeaways I have is don't quit your day job, even if you want to. And, that will give you more runway, more time, and it'll make things a lot easier. For me, I started a home care agency after I left my corporate job, and I simultaneously started doing a little bit of this online coaching thing, because I had been doing some consulting kind of along the way while I was getting my MBA. And, for me, I had other sources of income. So I wasn't just completely leaving everything. But one of the things that I have learned is, don't ever be afraid to do what you need to do as a small business owner. If life is too short and you're ready to leave, don't be afraid. But at the same time, don't be afraid to make sure you have other options for income as a business owner, because unfortunately, it can take way longer than you think it's going to take. And it can be a lot harder to learn the skills that you're going to need in order to be a business owner. I mean, I'm a software engineer with an MBA. Neither of those things exactly screams extrovert or awesome at sales. And for me, that's been a journey to learn how to do sales, to learn how to authentically connect with people as an introvert, and then how to, provide service without giving everything away. Learning all of these skills at once has been kind of a trial by fire while managing, simultaneously my daughter's care. So it's been an interesting journey.
The thing that I find fascinating is that it's kind of a common thing now that since the pandemic, everybody's an entrepreneur, and you were able to get that started before we even thought about a pandemic. I remember you saying that the largest growth was in the first 5 years. What do you think was different then? Because, before the pandemic, everybody had a job, everybody was fine. What do you think was different then that got women excited about becoming an entrepreneur?
So I initially had, kind of a little bit different way of running the group. So I had the rule initially that if you posted 3 times high quality content, then you could promote. What we learned pretty quickly was that people would just come in the group and promote. They would just join and post and spam the group. So there were some lessons that I had to learn kind of along the way as well. And Facebook is a changing environment. So we started the group with a lot of people in MLMs and direct sales and whatnot. And unfortunately, what I've seen with a lot of those types of entrepreneurs is that they don't have money to invest in themselves. And a lot of times they're not willing to make the investments, whether it's time, effort, energy, money. There's a lot of very real mindset issues. So I have over time changed the focus of the group to be focusing on people who have truly their own e-commerce or realtors, other types of business owners, because I found that they generally are more willing to make the sacrifices and the investments in themselves and their businesses to make forward progress. I mean, making $500 a month, as an extra sideline of income is great. But that's never going to feed yourself or your family. And I mean, that's the reality for a lot of direct sales companies is you're making a few hundred extra dollars a month. So I really started focusing on people who were using their businesses as a means of, solely supporting themselves.
Yeah.
And that's a very different mindset.
Oh yeah. It's and in fact, one of the questions that came in is, where do I find the money to invest? And you may have already answered that earlier when you said, keep your day job. I mean,
well, there's kind of a couple of ways I can answer that, right? One of them is definitely keep your day job. The second is don't invest in things you don't have to invest in at a particular point in time. So I see a lot of people who are paying for expensive virtual assistants, who are buying expensive websites, and they're on their 4th website. And they're either, $200 here or $1,500 or $5,000 there. And I mean, I build websites for people, but I will tell you that you can absolutely start a service business with a flyer that you make on Canva for free and a way to take payments. So whether that's PayPal, Square, Venmo, whatever it is, you can send out an invoice that way, or you can, get highfalutin and fancy and sign up for Wave apps and take credit cards that way. There's ways to do it that you don't have to spend very much money at all. And then you are basically hustling it and learning the sales, registering with SCORE, taking, classes at your local community college. There's a lot of very, very inexpensive ways to do this that don't involve spending $20,000 that you don't have on a coach, or $63,000, like I heard from somebody else who has almost literally bankrupted themselves in the process. So, we look at, getting really, really smart with your money. Do you have to spend that money on your business at this exact point in time? Yes or no? And is it something that's really necessary to get the next sale? Yes or no? There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you there's a lot of things you should do. You should build a funnel. You're just one funnel away. You're, you should do this.
Back up a little bit, because that was one of the questions that came in. What is a funnel? So let me put that in.
So a funnel at the end of the day is just a sales process. So in the online world, a lot of people think of a funnel, as a software funnel. It's a quiz. It's a survey. It's something I'm giving you away for free, and then I'm emailing the crap out of you. That's what most people think of as a funnel. A funnel is really your sales process that gets somebody from out there and way out in the wild blue yonder to in here becoming a client.
Client.
And
Okay.
it is that documented, systematized process. And guess what? You could do it with an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet, right?
Wow.
You don't have to have expensive, crazy, fluffy software to have an effective funnel. How often are you following up with somebody? Oh, you could DM them. You could email them. You could text them. You could do a lot of things to get in touch with them. So there's a lot of misconceptions from a marketing and a sales side of what constitutes a funnel and how you use one. The reality for most of us growing our businesses is that we're going to first sell to our network, to the people we know, our family and friends.
Right.
If you don't have a network, don't quit your day job.
Okay.
Start building your network.
Okay.
Your network is your net worth. Build your network and your reputation and start building out your platform before you ever even conceive of leaving that day job.
Now, your network could be your sorority, your women's group, the mothers at the church. We gotta put it
right. Your alma mater, your alumni associations where you volunteer. It can be a lot of things, right? Your network is really your net worth. But what I'm running into is business owners who are starting businesses. They don't have money to spend on, say they're a travel agent. They don't have money to spend on buying leads. And they don't have the history of being a sorority sister or having gone to college or going to church or synagogue or temple regularly. Right?
To
the
make
things that you would have a network around you. So your network can be a lot of things. For me, when I started, my network was my alumni associations, Duke and NC State. I had started getting on LinkedIn in 2005 and building my recommendations there. Like as soon as LinkedIn became a thing, I was on it. And then I was a Girl Scout leader for 16 years. I've been a volunteer with my son's Boy Scout troop for a very long time. I think my oldest son is a second year in college. So since he was a first grader, I've been involved with the troop, helping with tech, helping with websites, occasionally leading stuff, doing things, right? So I'm out there constantly building my network, and I'm going to the occasional live networking meeting. I've been a BNI member in the past. I've built a lot of relationships in my community. And so like a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a community around me. Well, join a Facebook group for, people who have affiliated interests and start chatting with people. Well, I don't know how to do that. Well, and I'm going to sit here and scroll. Well, sitting there and scrolling on social media, whatever the platform is on TikTok, isn't going to get you clients. Connecting to those people is going to get you clients.
So that's our next question. The question is, I've got 3,000 friends. How do I monetize them? I think you just answered that. You got to build relationships with them.
You got to have a relationship with all 3,000 of them if you can. Having conversations, sending them happy birthdays, wishing them well, having learning about their kids, learning about their health challenges. I have lots of conversations with people that have absolutely nothing to do with business, that I have very strong business relationships with. And in fact, I will tell you that it was my BNI co-members, the other people in my BNI group, literally a few years ago when we were in the depths of the crazy with my daughter, and we were in and out of the hospital like you would not believe, like a yo-yo. It was those BNI members who said, try this, ask that, connect here. And then I started posting in, guess what? Local networking groups. And I said, my daughter is here. What do I do? I found somebody who literally through a networking group said, hold on, I am working on my master's degree at Wake Forest University. I am currently doing an internship here. I happen to specialize in getting funding for the kind of situation you have.
Oh my God.
You need to do this,
Yeah.
and then you need to do this, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do that. And so the next time she was discharged from a different hospital, we drove her straight to the psychiatric hospital for the state, which you're not supposed to be able to do. But, oh, by the way, we had the history we needed to be able to do that because she said, do these things. And then it was, do this, now ask this question, now request this evaluation, now stand here. And we were at the state psychiatric hospital working with the social workers there and telling them what to do. And they're like, we've never seen this done before. We didn't even know this was possible.
All from a relationship that you built with somebody on social media.
Exactly.
Whew.
So
the
if that
power-
doesn't send chills down your spine,
it does.
I don't know what does. And it was literally me asking in a women's networking group and saying, hey, can somebody help? My family is alive now, literally, because I started asking questions because I had a network. Now, have I made money online? Yes. Have I made a lot of money online? Well, kind of, yeah. What's the more important thing? My family is still alive.
Your family.
And I learned how to get disability. I learned how to get legal guardianship for my daughter. I learned how to get her the resources she needed by that network. I mean, your network is your net worth.
I love it.
And
when
it's
you say
not
that.
just, about like, hey, make a bunch of money. For me, in my case, there's obviously, because I've been able to get benefits for my daughter, I would have never known how to navigate that situation.
And that's part of the reason why you're Mother of the Year. When the publisher said she wanted to feature somebody,
Thank you.
there were two people that came to mind, and one of them has a testimony about a loss, but yours was so inspirational that you've been able to keep things together. So the next question is, how do you juggle, because you've got kids and you've got pets, and there's probably a couple of adults in your life that you're trying to maintain relationships with. When do you get to take the mom hat off and the entrepreneur hat? How do you balance it?
So I have a very interesting schedule. I do block time on my schedule. Like, one of the things we were talking about before we were doing this interview is, hey, I'd love to talk tonight. So we're talking in the evening, but I can't talk between the hours of this and this because that's my family dinner time.
Good.
And my husband and I eat dinner together, and then we go and we walk the dogs. And we do this every single day.
Good.
So we literally built in that time together as a couple to spend time to do things together. And generally that time each day is pretty, sacred for us. So we spend time together. That's been an important thing. The other thing is really working on growing my team and training my team and educating my team. So I've been growing my business, and it's not easy. It's not easy finding the right person, but finding the right person and paying them, well, and making sure that, like the last couple of months, we've had 4 hospitalizations. That when I am distracted with family stuff and my brain is all Twitter-pated, because it does, that my team steps in and helps. And my husband of almost 31 years also steps in and helps. And he is way better at doing the laundry than I am. And
I got you.
He does the grocery shopping. If I put together a list and I say, hey, we need these things, meals get delivered. we have our ways of doing things, right? And then sometimes things that can be let to slide, leave to slide. Sometimes I have dog hair on the floor, and it just is, right? Or maybe the bathrooms aren't as clean as they could be because that's not a priority at this moment in time. Maybe they go 2 weeks instead of every week.
So when we talk about children and multiple children, you know, I've talked to entrepreneurs that have one child and a nanny, or there's 12 years difference, and so the eldest helps. How do you navigate that dynamic with multiple children and a business?
So my youngest is 16, and he goes to an all-boys military boarding school at this point.
Okay.
He goes there by choice. I have 2 in college, a 19 about to turn 20-year-old and a 22-year-old that are in college. I would say it is different because my kids still want mom. They still want talk to mom. We interact back and forth. I will tell you, I send my 20-year-old, about to turn 20-year-old son, tons of silly cat memes and pictures of cats. And I send him the cat picture of the day from our cats here at home. And we talk about internships and we talk about all kinds of stuff, right? My 16-year-old demands the dog picture of the day. The cats are okay. The dogs are very important to him. So my 16-year-old gets the dog picture of the day. My 22-year-old does not get the dog picture of the day because she has one of the dogs. One of the 3 dogs lives with her. But I get the grand dog picture every few weeks. And she comes home pretty often for medical appointments because she's got some tricky medical stuff going on. So I'm here as an advocate and a resource for them. And, you know, I'm just here if they need me. Like this week, my daughter was supposed to come home for Easter. She's not because she picked up the creeping crud last week at the American Chemical Society when she was there doing a presentation on her senior capstone project. So we were going to have kids this week. We see her about once or twice a month. We see our youngest once or twice a month, which involves a lot of driving. He's 4 hours from here. That round trip drive cannot be done in less than 8.5 hours, sometimes 9.
Correct.
And
so that's an overnight stay if you're going to get quality time. No?
Well, we go up, we spend the day with him and come back, or we go up and we fetch him and we bring him home. Nice. He likes to come home for Boy Scout events. So he was just home for spring break and up and back on both ends of that. And then he went camping with his Boy Scout troop here because he's in 2 different Boy Scout troops. And then, so there's always that like mom juggling, like kid going here, kid going there. Next week I'm out of town. But my youngest is coming home to go whitewater rafting with his Boy Scout troop here.
Wow.
So my husband is taking one for the team and doing the double driving up and back and up and back.
Okay.
Twice in 3 days.
So
how do we do it? We tag team.
That's what how do you do it?
Yeah. And my husband works a very full-time job, as a software engineer, doing all the things.
So your business started about 10 years ago, and the kids weren't teenagers then. They were elementary, middle school. What?
Not even in elementary school. We were in not even starting kindergarten. We were right at starting kindergarten.
Okay, talk to the mother with a 4th grader. The mother who maybe doesn't have a husband to pitch in, but is an entrepreneur to her heart.
So you pick your battles. You find your battles. You pick your time. You do things when you can. I have somebody on my team right now who is amazing, absolutely stunning. She's also currently has custody of her grandchild, who is a baby. And she works for me when her granddaughter is napping. Sometimes she's holding the baby. Sometimes, we work really weird hours to work around the baby's schedule. I think that where there is a will, there is a way. And, it's getting smart with your time and getting really smart with how am I spending money going out? Where is money coming in? And what am I willing to do to have this? And learning how to do sales.
Learning how to do sales, because that is a have to for any entrepreneur. You have to. You have
that
to.
is absolutely not optional. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do sales. And I'm like, then you need to do an e-commerce site or something and just drive traffic with ads. Because otherwise, if you're a service-based business owner, or you're selling product like on site, you still need to learn at least some basic sales. Yeah.
I talked to authors, and they said, well, I'm really not selling books. And I'm like, well, where are you trying to sell them? On my website. Well, you still got to sell them. So talk to us about the websites that don't bring in a return for their investment. Websites.
Lots of them.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us a little bit
so,
about that.
The reality with websites is if you just put up a website and you forget about it, regardless of your website, or a funnel and you forget about it. I'm paying for this fancy ClickFunnels software and I never bothered to configure it and I never bothered to drive traffic to it. It is absolutely worthless. It's not going to do anything for you. Remember back when I said a lot of people think they have to have the fancy website, the fancy funnels, the fancy logos, the fancy stuff. Not at all. And that is one of the hardest lessons. You don't need the fancy VA doing all the fancy graphics. You can buy bundles of graphics on Etsy. You can post stuff. You can find funny memes and share them. There was a very moderately inappropriate one that I posted the other day on my personal social for Rainbow Day, National Rainbow Day. If you guys want to go find it, you can go find it. It was somebody on a beach being silly with a rainbow. But you go and you find stuff and you post it, or you just use the plain backgrounds, or you just take photos and selfies and memes and you do things. It doesn't have to be super fancy. And a lot of people think, oh my gosh, it's got to be professional, perfect. Let me just tell you, when I first started, I had turquoise backgrounds, white letters in the Oswald font. Everybody recognized it.
I love it. And I
did them by the hundreds.
When you talk about posting, your post could be an image or something with your website.
Maybe.
To drive traffic to your website. And how often?
All the time.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is that you don't really want to put like your website front and center necessarily all over every single thing. You want to watermark it with your website. You want to make a nice impression of what your website is on your graphics. But here's the thing. Almost every single social media platform now, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, you name it, does not want you leaving the platform. So if you create a post and you put a link to an outside source, that platform is probably going to throttle you, because you have to remember, people come onto social media to be social, not to be sold to. So be social with your posts. And then every once in a while, throw in something about what you do. And you can sell without selling. I will a lot of times end up with clients when I'm talking about website security, website updates, IT security, talking about branding issues, talking about all kinds of things. And don't you wish you had some help with that? Well, I'll be happy to help you with that. And today I got another client that needs help with a particularly gnarly DNS email issue that's probably going to be at least a little bit expensive to fix, because it's just going to take a lot of hours and know how to fix.
Right. I got it. Oh my goodness.
And you don't have to be like super like in somebody's face to sell. I actually found if I post once a day about something I'm doing and then post all kinds of other stuff, dog pictures. Oh, look, I ate my harness. Couch like that. You don't eat all at once. People follow you.
I got you. Okay. I promise not to keep you long for this interview. We got 2 more questions. How do you have any thoughts or advice for the person that is on Social Security disability? You know, you got limitations. You can only earn so much, but they're stepping out and trying their hand at being an entrepreneur. They don't want to mess up their benefits, but they want to do something.
So there is a very real limit on how much money you can make on disability. Understand what the limitations and the rules are around disability, because you can make a little bit of money. Decide where you want to spend your time. You're probably going to have to declare that income. You're probably going to have to pay taxes on it, because Venmo and PayPal will report you if you've made more than $600 in a year. So just be aware. But here's the thing. If you focus on selling something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Don't try to make like a ton of money. Maybe do the direct sales. Maybe do the MLM with something that you really enjoy, some product, and just sell some product and don't bother like particularly building a team. That could be a few $100 a month. There's a lot of things. You could become a virtual assistant on Fiverr or Upwork. That you can do a little bit of word processing, maybe some Canva work, something, and add a few bucks to the pocket. And be mindful that you don't want to go take that $20,000 contract. Just know where your limits are.
Okay. And then the final question that I have is with team building. I heard you earlier say, pay them well, but what about the entrepreneur that needs to build a team based on commission? They don't have the money to pay a salary. The question actually was, how do I get the money to pay a salary, or how do I guarantee them something when they're bringing in the money for the business?
So you either need to pay a percentage of sales.
Yeah.
But one of the things I will heavily caution on is if you cannot make those first few sales yourself, all of the affiliates and all of the amazing salespeople in the world are probably not going to work for you, because you're probably not going to have the back office systems and processes in place for it. My recommendation for people who are just starting out, do it all yourself until you cannot stand it anymore. Until you have tried every single productivity hack in the book. And then think about hiring people, because hiring people comes with a lot of expenses. You're going to be paying for extra email addresses. You're going to be paying for extra software. You're going to be paying for a lot of extra things. And if your income drops in a particular month, which I know the feeling of, because, income as an entrepreneur is up and down and up and down, you could find yourself in a really nasty position. So hire slow, fire fast. And, you may hire a contractor for a particular thing. You may, be very particular with what you're hiring for. But a lot of people want to hire salespeople. Honestly, salespeople, effective salespeople, are one of the hardest things to hire for. That's one of the things I've learned. You can hire for salespeople once you've gotten to a certain point. And when you've got a certain number of clients coming in and leads coming in. Otherwise, don't hire.
Yeah, just forget it. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Be conservative with your money. Keep your money.
Yeah.
Be willing to make investments when they're important. There are certain pieces of software you must have in your business, depending on what the business is. It all depends, right? but also be super smart with your money so that you're not spending money you don't have every month.
And with today's economy, we're already doing a lot of that already.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to be spending, as a beginner entrepreneur, who's a coach or a service provider, or maybe you're cleaning houses, right? You don't need to be spending $1 bajillion a month on stuff. You can just as easily put a website up on Square for free, take payments through Square. They'll send you the equipment at low or no cost, and you get your first $1,000 of processing for free. And every time you share that link, you get another $1,000 of processing for free. Wow. So you can have people book with you online through their app. You can do all these things at a very low cost.
Wow.
And you can even email to people through it.
I was about to say, and then you can stay in touch with them as well. Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
I mean, and you're not spending a lot of money you don't have. I feel like people spend way too much money that they don't have on things.
Haley, I have to admit, I'm drawn to you on two reasons. One, you and I have both gone through a weight loss journey together, and we posted it. We, the before and after pictures are just, but your posts about your daughter really helped me, especially when in January I was diagnosed with traumatic brain injury. Nothing to the extent of what you've gone through, but a car accident, the little things that that I've learned, that people feel like, okay, well, you look fine, nothing's wrong with you, and even the association with the mental health situation. I want to thank you for being so open and transparent, because you've encouraged this little entrepreneur over here. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
So much. Thank you so much.
And I mean, my younger daughter has gone through regular concussions, not like the severe, like my older daughter. And just say, just the reality with that, just know that it is such an invisible disability, and it can hang out for a while, and you get so mad at yourself, and it's not your fault.
I cannot believe the things that I used to be able to do that I'm just waiting to be able to do them again. And then I'll see one of your posts about the sunshine or something. It's like, okay, Haley, she's got me. So thank you for mothering me. Thank you for mothering all of us in the Women's Entrepreneur Network group. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time tonight, dear.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, always. Congratulations again, Mother of the Year.
Thank you.
We will talk to you soon. Be blessed. Being Your Best You with Dr. Keir.
I'm exceptional, thank you. How are you today?
I'm so good.
Blocks to bold, brass to gold, better to best. We all get caught in mental mazes, believing that we have to live the way others see us, or being taught to think things through. Dr. Keir is an agent of change using Geotran human programming and activations to quickly and easily release people from the automatic patterns and inner glitches that block their healthy, wealthy, happy life. Instead of going where our innate circuitry takes us. Being in alignment with you is the best way to create your best life. Are you ready to be your best self? Being Your Best You with Dr. Keir.
DJ Shaheem on the track.
A Mother's Heart, an anthology by visionary Teresa Jordan, featuring 9 phenomenal co-authors. This book is created for men and women around the world. It is dedicated to mothers from the past, present, and future. We thank you for your resilience, strength, and unconditional love. We honor you for the countless times you have been problem solvers, held things together, and became a superwoman to many. You are appreciated, and your great work and contributions will continue to be celebrated. Quote, "But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." End quote. Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. Our prayer is that these powerful stories will transform your life, creating pivotal moments for you, and also be responsible for leaving permanent marks in your heart. Our prayer is that every story is an inspiration to you going forth. A Mother's Heart, compiled by Triumphant Magazine, published by Triumphant Magazine Publishing, promotional support by Angie BEE Productions, and narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie BEE. A Mother's Heart, an anthology. Please allow us to introduce you to one of the graduates of our YEP program.
Hi, I'm Sandra B. I live in Michigan. And yep, I'm an author.
YEP, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. Our goal is to initiate literacy in students and lead them to entrepreneurship through authorship. Our mission is to identify and invite organizations to participate in this program. Students participate in virtual writing workshops where they are encouraged to write their stories and provide reviews of stories read. We ask you to support our youth. For a donation of only $50, your company or organization will be mentioned as a youth supporter in the next audiobook. Send an email to yup!'I'm-an-author@gmail.com to provide a scholarship for a young person to participate.
Yep, I'm an author.
Proceeds are accepted and disbursed by Angie BEE Productions. And now, these students are authors and entrepreneurs. Follow us online. Just search for Yup, I'm an Author on Facebook. Use the hashtag Yup, I'm an Author. Or call 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519 for more information. This program is sponsored in part by Angie BEE Productions.
Yep, I'm an author.
First, there was fashion, then luxury, London Fashion Week, lifestyle, celebrities, international fashion, and luxury lifestyle, creativity and advertising. For 9 years, this magazine publisher has connected and inspired readers from around the globe. Now, this daring entrepreneur introduces her newest project, featuring women in business, providing worldwide exposure and empowering them to succeed. It's time for you to experience Contessa's Court, Women in Business. To watch highlight and interview features from those introduced in the magazine, be sure to watch Contessa's Court, the talk show, airing Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. For advertising and more information, send an email to contessascourt@gmail.com. That's contessascourt@gmail.com. Conversations about fashion, business, family, lifestyle, beliefs, and more. Contessa's Court, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I am the way, the truth, the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ's gift. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ's gift. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ's gift. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ's gift. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ's gift. The way, truth, and life, Jesus Christ. God came in the flesh once he comes again. How long will his people keep rejecting in him? How much more does he have to endure while y'all testing him? Why don't you rest in him? Why you keep wrestling with my angel set? You better just repent, there ain't that much time left. And I don't wanna see you go down that road, you know it leads to death. There's so many they wait, why don't you change directions? Let the word of God be your GPS, and he will show you the way. Call on his name and be saved. I ain't saying that it's gonna be easy. Matter of fact, it might be just as hard, but at least you'll have God on your side when it comes time. For what? You don't know this is war, and before you know, it's gonna all be over. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. This is serious now that you feeling me. Yeah, I'ma speak the truth. It's about to hit you like 100 proof, and the spirit's proof. Ain't that enough for you? How about his love for you? Y'all acting too cool, he shed his blood for you. See you too comfortable, this shouldn't be old news. Shit, he made me brand new, and so I can't keep doing what I was doing like it's all good. I see it just won't do, because he lives in me, just like he lives in you. Jesus, I gotta live for you, so I ain't doing what I want to. Yo, I'm doing what I got to, and you ain't gonna stop me. Would you think I'ma stop now? Dude, he's on top now. You just a Christ hater, you better stop hating. I keep on patiently waiting, cause I'ma take it from Satan. You better watch what you're saying to me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. The devil think he's slick, and you know he really is. Slick enough that he can trick 95% of Christians I know don't even know they rolling with him like they was homies. Meanwhile, Christ is the one they claiming to represent, but he the one that's getting left out the game while they busy picking devils on their team. Can't believe what I've been seeing. They don't wanna hear it, but they gon' feel it when it all flipped. Don't say I didn't tell it like it is, and still I won't quit. I'ma keep on going till I can't no more, till I'm dying on that cross and it's finished. I'ma let y'all know what the saith the Lord, and you can call it what you want, but I just really wanna know who's really down for the